Welcome to Social Security Post, your trusted source for clarity and truth behind today's biggest Social Security headlines. Something truly strange is happening right now. On one hand, Social Security is sending out massive payments to certain beneficiaries, and on the other, millions of Americans are facing unexpected service delays and even application slowdowns. If you're collecting benefits or applying soon, this video could directly impact you. So stick around, because by the end of this video, I'll explain why this may not be as bad as it seems and how it could actually work in your favor depending on your situation. Here's what's so unusual. How is Social Security able to send out large lump sum payments to over 1 million people while at the same time warning of slower application processing and possibly missed services for others? It sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? That's what we'll unpack today. We'll dive into the Fairness Act payments, the reason behind this agency-wide shift, and how the SSA is reallocating its staffing power to get this done, all while potentially delaying other essential services. So if you're waiting on a new claim, an overpayment resolution, or even basic account updates, keep watching, because this situation may affect your timeline more than you think. Right now, Social Security is focused on distributing large one-time payments to roughly 1 million beneficiaries who are eligible under the Fairness Act. These lump sum checks are a result of a long-awaited legislative fix to outdated benefit calculations, and for those who qualify, it's a much-needed financial relief. However, these aren't standard benefit payments. They're incredibly complex cases that require manual processing. That means SSA employees can't rely on automation for this task. Each case must be handled individually to calculate the exact amount owed, check eligibility history, and ensure no errors slip through. It's an overwhelming task for a system already stretched thin, and now nearly all SSA manpower is being redirected toward this one-time initiative. This redirection has major consequences. While it's great news for those receiving the payments, it's creating a domino effect that's slowing down the rest of the system. This means fewer staff members are available to handle everyday services, things like changing direct deposit information, answering questions about overpayment notices, or processing new applications. It's almost as if SSA has hit the pause button on everything else to finish this one massive job. According to reports, the goal is to finish all these Fairness Act lump sum payments by the end of June. But until then, millions of others may feel the effects of a slower and less responsive Social Security Administration, especially those just entering the system for the first time. As these Fairness Act payments roll out, internal memos from SSA suggest a major reallocation of staff resources. In simpler terms, the agency is pulling workers off regular duties, such as handling overpayment corrections or new retirement claims, and shifting them to focus on these complicated one-time payments. This shift wasn't optional. The SSA made it clear that this is now the top priority, and other services are being relinquished temporarily. That word alone, relinquished, sends a powerful message. It implies that, for now, SSA is willing to delay many basic services, possibly for weeks, to get this project done. This strategy might make sense from a workload perspective, but for everyday Americans waiting on critical updates, it could feel like abandonment. One of the areas hit hardest is overpayment resolution. If you've been caught up in one of these highly controversial overpayment letters, whether 10%, 50%, or even 100% recoupments, you might notice those letters have stopped coming recently. That's not an accident. According to this report, SSA staff have been told to put less attention into enforcing overpayment recoveries for now. That might sound like a temporary reprieve, and in a way it is, but it also shows just how overloaded the system is. SSA isn't stopping overpayments, they're just not actively pursuing them with the same urgency. And while that may offer short-term relief to some, it raises questions about how long this pause will last and what happens when staff return to normal duties. Perhaps the most overlooked impact of this staffing shift is what it means for new Social Security applicants. According to the SSA's own data, nearly 400,000 Americans reach eligibility age for retirement benefits every month. That's more than 11,000 people every day. These individuals are excited to file their claim, expecting their benefits to begin shortly after. But now, due to this massive reallocation of SSA staff, many of those new applications are being pushed to the back of the line. It's not that the SSA is denying these applications outright. It's that there simply aren't enough personnel to process them at the speed people have come to expect. This is especially significant because historically, retirement benefit applications have been among the quickest to process. There's little ambiguity. You're either of age and eligible or you're not. But now even straightforward cases are seeing delays. The problem isn't eligibility, it's resources. SSA is prioritizing Fairness Act payments, and with nearly 1 million manual cases in the pipeline, there's little room left to handle new retirements. If you or a loved one are nearing retirement age, this is a critical moment to watch. The backlog could grow fast, especially as more people become eligible this summer. The earlier you file, the better your odds of getting ahead of what could become a major processing bottleneck. While delays usually sound like a bad thing, and for many they are, there's an unexpected silver lining in all this chaos. If you're someone who's been hit with a Social Security overpayment letter, you may actually be breathing a sigh of relief. That's because the current focus on Fairness Act payments is causing SSA to deprioritize those overpayment enforcement actions, when for months, thousands of recipients have been receiving confusing and often devastating letters demanding repayment of benefits the SSA now claims were overpaid. These letters sparked outrage because they were issued with very little warning, and sometimes demanded tens of thousands of dollars from seniors who had no idea they owed anything. Now, at least for a while, those letters may slow down or stop altogether as SSA staff are shifted to other tasks. This doesn't mean overpayments are being forgiven, but it does mean you might not hear from SSA about it right away. If you're currently disputing an overpayment or waiting to appeal, this could give you more time to prepare your case or consult with an advocate. It also means SSA isn't likely to be pushing aggressive collection actions in the short term. Again, this isn't permanent, but it's a breathing space that many recipients desperately need. For some, these pauses might mean avoiding a financial emergency, but for others, this reprieve may be temporary. And once the Fairness Act payments are completed, SSA may resume overpayment enforcement with even more urgency. Either way, it's a critical window that beneficiaries should be aware of, especially those who have received confusing letters or are still waiting for clarification. Acting Commissioner Frank Bisignano recently gave a statement that is driving much of the current SSA activity. According to his interview, the goal is to ensure that all remaining Fairness Act lump sum payments are processed and distributed by the end of June. This self-imposed deadline has essentially shifted the entire focus of the SSA, leading to the reallocation of staff, the temporary halt of non-urgent services, and the resulting confusion among beneficiaries. Bisignano's leadership has brought with it a sense of urgency, but also a sense of unpredictability. Many beneficiaries and SSA employees alike are questioning the wisdom of this prioritization, especially when it means sidelining new applicants or essential account services for current recipients. At the same time, Bisignano's urgency suggests the SSA is aware of the criticism it has faced in recent months, particularly regarding inefficiencies and public distrust. By completing this payment initiative swiftly, the agency may be trying to regain some credibility and public trust. After all, distributing large back payments, even if only to a portion of recipients, looks like progress. But it comes with a cost. That cost is the delay in application processing, paused overpayment enforcement, and slowed down responses for routine tasks. So while his directive may help the SSA hit a major milestone by early summer, it could also set up a larger service bottleneck in July and beyond. The true test of leadership isn't just getting one job done fast, it's managing the ripple effects that come after. There's a common assumption that Social Security payments are fully automated. And for the most part, that's true. Routine monthly benefits for retirees, SSDI recipients, and others are sent out like clockwork. But the problem isn't with existing checks, it's with anything new or unusual. Lump sum Fairness Act payments, new retirement applications, overpayment corrections, address changes, and direct deposit modifications all require human intervention. This is where the bottleneck begins. The SSA simply doesn't have enough staff to manually handle all these requests while also finishing the massive task of sending out more than 1 million Fairness Act back payments. So while your regular monthly check is still being deposited on time, if you're waiting on a change, like switching your bank account, adjusting your payee status, or appealing a denied application, you might be in for a longer wait than expected. The SSA is prioritizing a singular mission and sidelining everything else. This also explains why new applicants are reporting longer wait times, unanswered inquiries, or even being told their files are on hold. The automation of monthly benefits gives the illusion that everything is fine, but behind the scenes, the backlog is growing, and unless the SSA hires new staff or dramatically increases efficiency, that pressure will only grow as summer progresses. The situation is even more difficult for individuals applying for SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance. Unlike retirement benefits, SSDI claims go through a rigorous evaluation process, often taking over 7 months for an initial decision. These claims require medical records, proof of work history, physician input, and an SSA review board decision. If you've ever applied for SSDI, you already know how long and frustrating that wait can be. Now, with SSA staff redirected to Fairness Act payments, even these already long processing times are being stretched further. And that's not just an inconvenience. For many disabled individuals, it's a crisis. They're unable to work, they've exhausted their savings, and they need those benefits to survive. To make matters worse, SSDI denials are incredibly common, and each denial leads to a new level of appeals and hearings that can drag on for months, if not years. With fewer SSA workers available to process paperwork, schedule hearings, or respond to evidence, the entire system slows down. That means more people fall through the cracks, living without income while waiting on a government decision that may not come for many more months. The current redirection of staff may be temporary, but its impact on disability claimants will be felt for much longer. Unlike retirees waiting for a routine check, these applicants are in far more precarious situations, and this delay could mean the difference between getting by and falling apart. But what does all this mean for you? Whether you're a retiree, someone preparing to file for Social Security, or a person caught up in the overpayment chaos, this current moment is a wake-up call. The SSA is laser focused on distributing Fairness Act lump sum payments to roughly 1 million people before the end of June. And in doing so, they've sidelined many of the everyday services that beneficiaries rely on, including application processing, overpayment correction, and account management. While this means a long-awaited payout for some, it spells delays and disruption for millions of others. It's a rare situation where the system appears to be doing the right thing for a few at the expense of many more. At Social Security Post, our goal is to keep you informed and prepared, not just for what's happening now, but for what's coming next. That's why we encourage you to take proactive steps. If you're nearing eligibility, file early. If you're dealing with an overpayment, use this time to gather evidence. And if you're simply watching from the sidelines, stay aware, because once July arrives, the SSA will have a lot of catching up to do. Don't be left in the dark. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Social Security Post so we can keep bringing you accurate, timely, and useful updates on the issues that matter most. We'll be tracking the fallout from this decision in the coming weeks, and you'll want to be the first to know what happens next. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and we'll catch you in the next update.